Democratic presidential nominee, meanwhile, Hillary Clinton trying to change the focus from her email scandal to her opponent, Donald Trump. But new emails obtained by Citizens United suggest more scandal, that a senior Clinton aide stage-managed the first Benghazi hearing by feeding Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Senator Robert Menendez the questions that Hillary wanted to address. One email reads this, quote, "We wired it that Menendez would provide an opportunity to address two topics we needed to debunk, her actions and whereabouts on 9/11, and these email from Chris Stevens about moving locations." Joining us right now is Katrina Pierson. She is national spokesperson for the Donald Trump campaign. Katrina, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
So this is another example, Katrina, of Hillary Clinton working to rewrite the facts of the Benghazi attack. Will voters care?
I think they will absolutely care, and I think we've seen that movement in the polls just here recently. This is a problem, and this is why they're now looking at obstruction of justice. This was obviously a failure to secure state secrets, and we have a serious problem now because Benghazi emails were found in this big stack of emails that were released, and they're still going through them today.
As much as her negatives continue to rise, his negatives are as well, and people want to see specifics from Donald Trump. We just heard from the head of the NAACP. He wants specifics on the black community. But tonight you've got a big forum, a foreign policy forum. What specifics will Donald Trump offer in terms of the war on terror?
Well, first, their negatives are high, but for very different reasons. For Hillary Clinton, it's honesty and trustworthiness. And for Donald Trump, it's just a personality flaw that most people can't get on board with. But I think at the end of the day, the policies are going to move out. The NAACP is an institution that is kept in place by division among the races, and Mr. Trump's policies are for all communities, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, or Asian. His economic policies specifically, which is what he's leading on. Mr. Trump has been offering specifics. He's offered 10-point plans on a number of different things. You can go to donaldjtrump.com and find those specifics, because Mr. Trump is running an American campaign. He's not running a coordinated boxed campaign.
Sure. Can I just ask you, Donald Trump was invited on this show to come and address the NAACP. The president said that Mr. Trump has turned them down time and time again. Are you saying now that Donald Trump would dodge the invitation to go and address the NAACP? Does he have the guts to show up and address that organization?
I don't think guts are a question for Mr. Trump, but the president left out a small detail in that invitation. It was during the GOP convention. That is why Mr. Trump could not make that meeting, and I think that's a conflict of interest.
He's invited him right now on the show today. He did just invite him, and there are about 60 days left in this election cycle. Mr. Trump is going to continue to meet with organizations and groups. And what the individual also failed to mention is the fact that Mr. Trump has been meeting with individuals in the black community since the primary. So that's a no?
He met with the Black Chamber of Commerce. He met with several pastors, black pastors, hundreds of them, in fact. So Mr. Trump has even tried to go to Chicago just this past March. So Mr. Trump has been making an effort the entire time.
Yeah, and I guess the polls have tightened in the last couple of weeks, so he's doing something right, Dagan.
Katrina, they have actually tightened. So you had a lead in the latest CNN, the national polls in the last week in Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio show a race that's tightening. Florida within the margin of error. North Carolina and even potentially Arizona still within reach of the Trump campaign. How much more time can he spend on the ground in those states and avoid states that are not wins for him, that are just out of the question, like Washington, for example?
How about New York?
Right.
Well, I think what you've seen with Mr. Trump is he's extremely hard worker. He has been out there all day, every day, going from state to state, holding multiple events per day, unlike Hillary Clinton, who took a month off. He's just committed, and this is something that Mr. Trump has been speaking about from the very beginning. He has the strength and stamina to get the job done. He's going to get out there, and he's going to compete for every single vote that's available. And the polls are tightening because Americans see that, and they can see the sincerity and the genuine of his policies, because Mr. Trump cares about this country, and the polls are tightening even among African Americans. We're at 8% now, which is more than John McCain and Mitt Romney combined. Wow. Mr. Trump is working hard.
Katrina, one of the biggest stats that surprised me from last month was that Hillary Clinton has a staff of over 700 people and Donald Trump has only 80. He's not opened his offices yet in the battleground states where he's got minimal presence there. When is he going to do that? Now that the polls have tightened, is he going to start actually putting boots on the ground and taking this seriously, where he needs to go in there and actually go on the ground in the swing states?
Well, these are actually the same reports we had during the primary. If you'll recall, Mr. Trump doesn't have offices, he doesn't have a staff, he doesn't have ground game, and then he broke the record in primary turnout. There are now, between the Trump campaign and the RNC, 1,000 offices that are open, and they are fully functioning. Mr. Trump has thousands of volunteers in these states.
But
that's why he's doing so well. Even though Hillary Clinton has hundreds of staff members, even though Hillary Clinton has hundreds of staffers and has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in ads, Mr. Trump just pulled ahead this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Katrina, the Dallas Morning News is releasing an editorial this morning endorsing Hillary Clinton for president. It's the first time your hometown paper has recommended a Democrat since before World War II. That's more than 70 years and nearly 20 elections. What do you do about it?
Well, nothing. We just acknowledge that the Dallas Morning News is a liberal paper. The reason why they have supported Republicans is because that's the establishment in the state of Texas. And this is just an effort to continue to try to turn Texas blue, and it's just not going to work.
Let me ask you this, Katrina, because when Donald Trump joined us, I guess about almost a month ago now, he said that after Labor Day, he told me this, after Labor Day, he would be releasing some of the names of the people that he would consider putting in his cabinet so that America can understand who he's going to surround himself with should he become president. Is that still in the plans? Is he going to be telling us a name or two in terms of who he's expecting to be naming in terms of his cabinet before the election?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Mr. Trump is committed to doing that because it is important for people to see what his administration would look like, so people would have a better idea of the policies and governance that would be coming forward. But when we're looking at today with the status quo and the thought of continuing that, the country cannot sustain the interest rates being this low, and the country cannot sustain moving forward with more spending, more government programs, and less jobs. This is just not going to work for America. Mr. Trump is going to put forth a pro-growth, pro-secure agenda for America, and he's going to show you who's going to help him lead that process.
Real quick, tonight's the Commander-in-Chief Forum. What's the most important policy change we'll hear, or policy that we're going to hear from Donald Trump tonight at this important forum?
Well, they're all important. Again, we cannot continue to sustain this policy of regime change and creating vacuums for terrorism. We cannot continue this policy of funding Iran. They don't even have to make a bomb anymore. They can just buy one now, thanks to American taxpayers in this administration. And we just cannot continue to sustain that type of policy in the Middle East.
All right, we will leave it there. Katrina, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.